Last time we talked about wudu, and I am going to make a review about what we talked about last time, 10 minutes, so we'll refresh your memory, and for those who were here, and then we'll talk about salah, organize. Okay, wudu, we said wudu is a condition for salah. If you can get water that has these conditions, it is tahir, not bak, it is pure, not mixed, and it is mubah. It is permissible for you to use the water. So it's not usurped. This is a word that is good to remember. Usurped means to take without the owner's permission, or to use without the owner's permission. So these three conditions are conditions for water to use for wudu. So the first thing about wudu, which all you know, is wudu is two ghasl and two masah. Ghasl of face and ghasl of hands, that is two ghasl. Masah of head and masah of feet. Now they are mustahab. It is better to do it, but it's not part of wudu, which is to wash your palms before you start the wudu, to gargle, to sniff the water. This is all before the wudu. Now, when you start the wudu, you need niyyah, which is intention. These acts, the mustahab before the wudu, they're not part of the wudu, so you don't need the niyyah for them. Okay? You might have a niyyah to do mustahab, but these are not part of wudu. So wudu starts when you say Bismillah. You don't have to say it, but when you make the intention in your heart, and you don't have to say it loudly. You don't even have to say it in your mind. You don't have to say, I am doing wudu now. You just need to realize and have intention of that practice. But sometimes people, for example, might be like it's too hot outside and we say, okay, I will wash my face and my hands. And for some reason, let's assume, they did it in the same exact way of us doing the wudu. Did they perform wudu? No, because they didn't have the intention of doing wudu. Okay? If someone who is a kafir, for example, seeing me doing wudu and he's doing exactly as I do, when we finish, I finished the wudu because I have intention. They did it because they didn't have intention, right? So intention is niyyah. And we say one of the things about intention, a common mistake with intention or with niyyah, is that sometimes it is not time for prayer yet, and people do the wudu beforehand. So I'm going to work and I will do salat al-zuhr at work. So I'm going out of my house at 9 a.m., 8 a.m. in the morning, and I think to myself, I am going to do wudu now, so I will pray salat al-dhuhr later. It is very important to have the right niyyah for this wudu. The right niyyah is to be on wudu, to be on tahara. Don't have the niyyah to pray salat al-dhuhr only, because there are many kinds of wudu. There is a wudu for salat al-dhuhr, wudu for salat al-asr, wudu for salat al-maghrib, wudu for salat al-isha. Everyone, if I did wudu for salat dhuhr, I can only use that wudu for salat dhuhr. I can't do salat asr. This is important. But there is a loophole. There is one niyyah, one intention that can cover all those, which is to be on wudu. So it is a general niyyah. And this niyyah is to be on tahara or on wudu as a means of qurbat to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Qurbat means following the order of Allah. So why do we need to say that? You know, there are many acts that need us to be on wudu. If, for example, it was time to do salat al-dhuhr, and I did the wudu with the niyyah of only praying salat al-dhuhr with that wudu, and then I want to do salat al-asr, I can't. Then I want to read the Quran and I touch it with my hand, I can't, because my wudu, okay, there are different opinions between the marajah. But according to Sayyid Sistani, that wudu can only be used to that salah, okay? Can't be used to other salah. So the things that we need wudu include salah, touching the Quran, touching Allah's name, touching Asma'ul Ma'sumin alayhim salam, doing tawaf. Some people have nazr or did a yameen, an oath to stay on wudu. All these things require wudu. So the best niyyah to do is I am doing wudu to be on wudu. Okay. Now Sayyid Sistani says there are two exemptions. If you thought it was time to pray. So for example, Dhuhr prayer is at 12 p.m. sharp. It is now 11:59. I thought it is 12 and I did the wudu with the niyyah of doing salat al-dhuhr. That's permissible. Or if it was too close to salat al-dhuhr, that is permissible. But to be safe, from now on, always have your niyyah is to be on wudu. Okay? So you're leaving house early and you want to do wudu later in the day, do the wudu with the niyyah of being on tahara, being on wudu, qurba lillah ta'ala. Don't make it niyyah to pray salat al-dhuhr. Another thing, if it was now salat al-dhuhr, and I did the wudu for salat al-dhuhr specifically, and Asr, and I prayed Dhuhr and Asr. Time passed by, I'm still on wudu, it is now Maghrib. Can I pray Maghrib? No, because the wudu was only meant for Dhuhr and Asr. The solution is to always have the niyyah, to be always on tahara. Okay? Now, ghasl, washing the face, we said the main thing about washing the face is to wash it from up till down. So, one way. Now, there's a problem, a common mistake. People put the water around their eyes and then they go up and down. And we said there are two solutions for that. Either pour the water up and wash down, or when you put it on your eyes, don't have the niyyah to do the wudu yet. You go up with your hand, now you have the niyyah and then you wash down. It happens in a split second, but it makes a whole difference. Okay? Now we say some ulama say, you can't move down until you finish all the way up. So for some marja, they do the whole forehead, and then the whole eye area, and then the whole nose area, and cheeks, and then the chin. According to Sayyid Sistani, you don't need to do like this. You don't need to do everything up before you move down. You can do a little bit down, but one condition, you have done up. So how does it work? You put the water here and you wipe like this. You put the water here and you wipe like this. And this is what Sayyid Sistani refers to as curved arc. So it is permissible, according to Sayyid Sistani, to do curved arc, which is what most of us do. Put the water, but make sure you put it on top, like around here, when the hair starts normally. Okay? And you put water here and you move down, then again from the left, right, left, maybe the center. You might want to take water more than once. Okay? That's fine. You take water as much as you need until every part of your face is covered, and that is one ghasla. Okay? And one ghasla is enough. Once every part of your face is covered with water, that's enough. You can move now to washing the hand. When we say every part, we mean what? The parts that need to be covered is from your hair till the end of your chin, and from the side of the side, how much you can cover with between your finger and middle, between your thumb and middle finger. When you put it like this, between this and this, all this area needs to be covered between here and here. Okay? Now it is better to go a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, just to be safe, but not necessary. Okay? Now, one of the mistakes that is common is that people don't cover small areas such as the corner of the eye, corner of the nose, or maybe, I don't know, maybe like here if they have, if their face is, what's the word, crumbled like this. So make sure you cover all that. And when you want to do that, you might want to take water and like work your hand there. And it is with the ihtiyat, after you do this, to move your hand down. So why do we do that? Because imagine you do it like this. You wash your face, you wash the forehead and until the chin. But there is a part of your eye that wasn't covered. Right? So now you've washed below that before you washed it. So you take water and you wash that part of the eye. Now you have to wash everything underneath. So after you've done like this and you want to be safe, you take water and you wash your eye and then move it like move down. You wash your eye and move down. Then maybe you do your nose and move down. So always end with your chin. Now another problem is if you have facial hair, full beard, and you should have beard unless there is a reason if not to have a beard. When you're doing wudu, you don't need to make sure that the water reaches the skin. It is enough that the water covers the hair. So we need to wash the whole face. But when you have a beard, that is part of the face now. So you don't need to get the water underneath until it reaches the skin. This is in wudu. It is enough just to cover the hair. This is in wudu. And I said, this is different than ghusl. In ghusl, you need to make sure the water goes underneath and reaches the skin. That's why in ghusl we do like this called takheel. Make sure the water gets in. But in wudu, you don't have to. Okay? Unless your beard is very light, is barely there, then you need to make sure the water reaches the skin. But for the majority of people, it's not like that.
Yeah, just want to say, while putting water over here, it's going that your earbud, you said like if you're doing it, it's touching with the water,
Yes.
you cannot do it.
Yeah.
But still I try my best to do this one, but I found that the water is touching the hands.
Yeah.
Like doing it little bit, saying if it little bit touches well, then you can't do the muscle.
Okay. I will talk about it when I reach this mess, and I will tell you one solution. Actually, I do two solutions. So what he's saying is when I'm washing from up, the front of my hair is now wet. Later on, I am going to do masah. The water from the hair is going to reach my fingers, and there might be a problem with. We will say why. So now I finished washing the face. Right now I can move to washing the right hand. When I'm washing the right hand, wash it with the left. It is better to take the water with the right. So what happens is you take the water with the right, you pour it into the left, and then you put it on your hand, on your right hand, like this. And again, what you need to cover is the whole thing from the elbow down to the fingertips. And I said, it is enough to start from here, right? But to be safe, you can do a little bit behind, about 4 fingers width. That is the mustahab. So you start from here and you go down. And again, same thing. You wash from up until down. So you wash like this, like this, like this, like this. As much water you need to make sure every part is covered. Now, there is one thing to be sure about is not to wash the below part before you do the up part, except for example, as I said, some marja, some ulama say you have to cover the whole thing, the circle around the elbow before you move a little bit below, before you move a little bit below, before you reach the hand. Said Stani says no, it's enough to do one sweeping motion for the outside, one sweeping motion for the inside. The problem is some people might twist their arm when they're doing that, and that's a problem. If you start here and you twist your arm and you finish here, now what you've done is effectively you've washed the palm of your hand without washing the inside of your elbow. That's a problem. So don't twist when you're washing, wash from upside, downside, and make sure everything is covered. For example, when we arrive at the fingertips, it is not a problem to do like this, so you make sure everything is covered, because if there is a very small area that is not covered with water, there is a problem. And by covered with water, I don't mean your hand has to move over it, I mean water has to reach it. Because one of the ways of doing wudu, you don't have to take water, there might be a big pond, and you dip your hand in. What's important is for the hand to be covered with water. So, the normal way with the tap water, I am taking the water either with this hand directly or through this, and I am doing like this, usually 1 or 2 times, and then it is mustahab to start from the outside and do the inside. You don't have to do that, but it is mustahab. Then make sure the fingers are covered. You take as much water as you need until the whole thing is covered. That is one ghasla. Okay? Now, after you've done that, you might want to do a second ghasla. That's fine. Actually, you might do a second ghasla for the face. When you start with the face, you do one ghasla. One ghasla means take as much water as you need until the whole face is covered. Finished? Now you have a niyyah. I am doing a second ghasla, and that's fine. 1 ghasla is enough. 2 is mustahab. 3 is haram. Right hand. 1 ghasla is enough. 2 is mustahab. 3 voids the wudu. It's not haram, but it voids the wudu. There's very details, nuances. I don't have to get into that. Then you move to the left hand. Same thing. From the elbow to the end of your fingertips. And the left hand is only 1 ghasla. No, not mustahab to do a second one. So, if you want to remember it, remember to do 1 ghasla for every part. Okay? If you want to do mustahab, look into it, because there are so many things you can do with mustahab. And again, you might want to take water more than once, that's fine. It is all part of 1 ghasla. A ghasla is taking more water as much as you need until everything of the area of the part that you are washing is covered with water. Okay? Now, mustahab is to start from the outside to the inside. That is for men. For women, it is mustahab to start from the inside to the outside. Now we move to masah. When we're doing the masah, or the wiping, you have to do the masah with the remainder of the water in your hand. You don't take new water. So don't put your hand under the tap. Even try not to close the tap if the tap handle is wet. Because if it is wet, you will get new water. Okay? Don't touch anything that is wet, actually. Because if you touch anything that is wet, new water will reach your hand. It is as if you've taken new water, and now what you're doing is not wiping, what you're doing is ghasl. Okay? So now, without touching anything wet, what I do is I do masah. Masah is to rub the front of your head with your right hand, and the amount that is required is in length, 1 finger length, so like this is enough, okay, 1 finger length, and in the width, 3 fingers is the mustahab. 1 finger in length and 3 joint fingers in breadth. So this is a very good amount to wipe, right? That is the wiping. If the hair is long, don't wipe on the hair end, because here's the problem. I have long hair, and the hair is the part of the face of the head I need to wipe is the front. I have long hair that is going from here until here. The hair is going from here till here. When I'm wiping over that piece of hair that comes from here. There's a problem. So put your hair away and try and wipe on either the scalp or the part of the hair that is close to the scalp. So what you have now is your hair is like it. You can wipe here very easily, straightforward, no problem.
So you have to have the line in the middle.
That doesn't mean exactly in the middle, but you need to make sure that the part of the hair you're wiping belongs to this area.
Oh, right.
So some people have hair coming from behind, and they're wiping actually on hair that is coming from the hand.
Yeah.
And
It's just
then, what about oil? If there's oil on the head,
If it is making a azil, if it is prohibiting the
a
water,
barrier,
the barrier between your hand or the water and the hair itself,
yeah.
there's a problem. And this is not only this. Every part that we need to wash or wipe, it has to, there must not be a barrier between what we're washing or wiping and the skin of the hair. Except if it is like a jurah, a wound, and you have like bandage, there's
Even if you put a cream as well, like it's after a long time, still you need
the
to
cream usually, like for example, moisturizing cream, gets absorbed with the right, the skin absorbs it.
It has to be dry, doesn't it?
I think so. I heard it like it's need to be.
So everyone has like oil and stuff, so what's that?
Natural oil is fine because it doesn't prohibit the water of reaching.
Like coconut oil.
Yes. So the creams, there are 2 kinds of creams. There is a cream that gets absorbed, like moisturizing cream. It has to get absorbed. That's why it's moisturizing, right? So that doesn't make a barrier, because now when you put the water, you might feel it like squeaking around, but it's still reaching your skin. However, sunblock cream, for example, it's meant to block the radiation from the sun from the skin. So when I have sunblock or any cream that makes a blockage above the skin, now when I wipe, the water will not reach the skin. That's a problem. So sunblock, no. Moisturizing cream, yes. Okay. And any cream that gets absorbed and doesn't make a barrier is fine. Any cream or substance that makes a barrier is a problem.
Can you do wuzu before and then apply cream? The wuzu is still valid.
Yeah, of course. It's I think it is احتياط to do like that. But if you already had a cream, that's fine.
Is it not your wash? You wash it.
Yeah, wash the cream first, yeah.
That's one solution. Yeah, that's one solution. Now, there is a problem. We talked about getting new water when we're doing the wine. So we said, don't take new water. Okay. What if there is water in here? My hair is wet, and I want to do masah, and I will end up mixing the water from that already in my hand with the water that was prior. Now, just arriving here and getting water on your fingertips is not a problem. The problem is now you want to do masah for your foot, and the problem is the water that you are going to do masah with is mixed, right? So what you do is either stop before that area. So for example, how? You have to do the wiping 1 finger length in length. that doesn't mean only with your fingers, that can be with the palm of your hand. Actually, according to Khou'i, it is احتياط وجوبي to do it with the palm. According to Sistani, احتياط مستحب. So according to Sistani, it is mustahab to do it with the palm, as long as it is one finger length. So this is how he does it. Okay? So if we do it like this, and we finish here, and there's a chance that the water from here is mixed with the water from here. But now the fingers, they don't have mixed water. So when I do the wiping on my foot, I can use the fingers. That is one solution. Another solution, which is what I do, is, you know, the wiping on the head has to be 3 fingers in breadth, right? The wiping on the foot has to be the minimum, the bare minimum, 1 finger in width. 1 finger in width. What I do is, I do wiping with 3 fingers, right? And I leave this finger on the side. I do the wiping. Doesn't matter if it gets mixed, right? Now I have mixed water here. I'm not going to use this, and I'm going to do the wiping on my foot with this finger alone. And that's enough. This is what I do. Okay? And this is, it's not my idea. It's something I learned from Sheikh Fawzi al-Saif, who gives, he explains the Risala Amaliyya of Sistani, and this is what he said. He actually gave a solution for people who want to close the tap. He said use two fingers and then wipe with 3. And if it gets the water mixed, wipe with this one. So there are these kind of quirky solutions. And it's, with the time, it is sometimes waswasa, sometimes it is the shaitan telling you your wudu has a problem. So when you have this solution, he's not going to come anymore, and inshallah in the future you will find that it's not mixing.
That's what I've been going through for 1 week. Like shaitan is saying something.
Always. When shaitan, when you're not doing mustahab, he tells you you're doing bad. When you want to do mustahab, he tells you you're doing this just so people think you are a pious person. So he's always going to find a way, and it's a continuous struggle. So he came to Anbiya, to prophets, so don't feel bad if he comes to you. All of us, we have to struggle with that.
Yes.
So,
one question. I mean, you've done your wuzu, but your part of the head is still wet, your hands are wet, your feet are wet.
Okay.
Can you wash over that?
Thank you for that question. Actually, there's an important thing. When you want to wipe your head, it has to be dry. And when you want to wipe your feet, they have to be dry. As opposed to your face and hands, they don't have to be dry. So, if your face is wet, that's no problem. If your hand is wet before you start the wudu, there is no problem. But your head, the part of your head you have to wipe, has to be dry, and also your feet. So now, what is it? How much dry is it? If it's 100% dry, that's fine. Sometimes it is just a little bit wet, so little that when you wipe it, the amount of wetness from your hand will overcome the amount of wetness that was prior. For example, if it was like drizzling very lightly and you have a couple of droplets scattered around, you can wipe over that, okay? But it is better to always have it like completely dry. For your feet, same thing. Imagine this is the back of my foot and I want to wipe over it. It has to be completely dry, or a little bit, just a little bit wet. I think I have it written somewhere. Wiping on this wetness is so insignificant that the moisture of the palm overcomes it. Okay? Or sometimes it is wet, only a small part of it is dry. Do masah over that part. Okay? Because when you're doing masah of your foot, said it has to be the bare minimum 1 finger in width. So you can do it on the small finger and just do like this, and that's enough. Okay? So it has to be dry,
No, but that was not my question. My question is this, that you have performed your wuzu correctly, everything is done, wuzu is there. Now because of the wuzu, your head is
wet. Of course.
Your feet are wet,
Yeah.
your hands are wet and all that. What I'm saying is now, can you wash those parts now with fresh water after you've done your wuzu? I mean, like you take a shower now.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Your wudu is correct, right? And you can wash it.
While the wetness is there.
That's fine. You finish the wudu and everything is fine. You want to wash it, that's fine. That's fine. because now you are in a state of wudu. It won't be affected if you wash yourself or dry yourself. Some people, when they're praying, for example, they have their sleeves up and it's dripping wet, that's fine. Some people like to dry with the towel until it's completely dry and they do the prayer, that's fine. Sometimes you, for cleanness or whatever reason there is, you want to wash, you want to take a shower, that's fine. It won't change the state of your wudu. And by the way, since it's mentioned, it is a mustahab. When you do the wudu, do not dry with the towel, keep it, it is mustahab. So finally, the wiping on your foot, don't add new water, don't take water from the tap or whatever, don't touch anything wet. With the remainders of the wetness, wipe on your foot. And the way you do the wiping, it is mustahab to do the right foot before the left. So it is mustahab to do this and then this, but you can do them at the same time. According to some ulama, you might do the left one first. There is no need to do that. According to Sistani, it is istihbab wujubi to not do that. So do them at the same time or one by one. You can use the right hand for both. According to some ulama, you can use the left hand for both. So according to some ulama, like this. You don't need to do that. You can use your right hand for both. The way you wipe is either from the front back or from the back to front. And actually, I want to say something. The part you need to wipe is from the tips of your toes until the ankle. And in Arabic, ankle has two meanings. There is the back ankle, which is here, everyone knows it, and this is the front ankle, which is where the foot joins the leg. That is the front ankle. So the amount that you need to wipe is from the finger, the toe tip, until the joint. It is better to go a little bit up to make sure it is completely covered, right? This is according to Sistani. Other maraja has different opinions. I don't want to confuse you with what they say. So how do you do the wiping? You either do it like this or like this. It's all good. One way people do it is they put their hand and they move their hand a little bit. There's a problem with that, so don't do it. Start like this or like this. And if you, the amount that you need to wipe, I think it is, as we said, wipe the right foot with the right hand and the left foot with the left hand, the 3 joint fingers in breadth and one, and even better, entire foot is done for the entire hand. Actually, this is the mustahab. The bare minimum is 1 finger in breadth, better is 3 joint, and the mustahab, the best mustahab, is to wipe the whole thing with the whole thing. So how we do it? We put this part on the tiptoes, and we wipe the whole thing until we finish with our fingertips on the ankle. That is one way. As we said, if you're worried about your hand being wet, you can do like this, and that's it. Okay? Or like this. It doesn't have to be. So you need the width. When we talk about the breadth, the length from here to here, that is the length of the foot, not the hand. The hand, it's enough to do the tip of your finger like this. Okay? So don't worry about, I've lost the whole palm and I want to use only this part. It's not a problem. So actually, this is how I do it. I do like this and then I do like this.
So what if there was like very little moisture left, and when you started wiping, your moisture finished like mid-foot,
Okay.
and the rest is dry?
What you would do is either twist or like here, this, make sure. But a wider question is, if the whole hand is dry, I want to do the wiping and there is no water left, maybe it's too hot. You can use the extra water from your beard, do it like this, and use that water. If you have no beard, for example, women, men who have no beard, or if it's too hot, even there is no water in the beard, then says restart the whole thing and do it from the beginning. Now, if you are in a situation where you tried it like a couple of times and every time water just evaporates, there's a solution. I think at that time they say do tayammum, not wudu, and do wudu and take water. So you do both, and one is both are with the niyyah of qurba. It's a very, very like specific case.
I don't know if I shower from that instead.
struggle with that. I don't think it's a problem.
Sounds good.
How about, you know, when you said that the right hand after when you've done your arms and everything, and just that. But see, once you've done the arms, can you turn the tap off with your left hand? Because you're going to do the
If you turn it off, but now your left hand, aren't you going to use it to wipe your left foot?
Or if you use it for the left, then
You don't have to.
yeah.
If you touch the tap with that and water will get mixed, you can't use it now. So now this bit is to use the right hand to wipe the right foot and then the left foot. That's fine. Or close the tap with the back of your hand if you can, right? And that's a good solution. Or close the tap with a couple fingers and leave at least one finger to wipe. So you can close it like this, and you still have one finger to wipe, or like this, and you have 3 fingers to wipe. So if it's completely dry, there is no problem. If the tap handle is completely dry, there is no problem.
Better to close after massage.
Yeah.
It's better to leave it,
Yeah.
because there is another problem.
Unless you've got a tap,
It
you need
takes
to pull the
only
idle
few seconds.
Yeah, I
Press
know.
it down.
I was gonna say.
Close with my teeth next time.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
So, I mean, you could sort of take the water, and like the second time you're taking water for the hand, you could take the water, turn the tap off, and then pour the water,
True.
and now the water is all over the.
Yes, because you're still washing, you're still taking
It's a
water.
mid-wash.
Take the water, close the tap, and then you
And
do
then-
something. Right,
Yeah,
that's
that's-
one solution.
That's what we're doing.
That's engineering solution.
Moment, if you take a shower or bath, you know, your hair will be wet. You need to wait it to take a wudu.
Dry.
Like sometimes take 15 minutes, 20 minutes to dry. Dry it, you can do just
This is where you rely on this saying if it's so insignificant. Like for example, you finish, you dry it with a towel, okay? You throw the towel away or put it away. Take another dry towel and you wipe it again. Now it is almost completely dry. If there is some wetness, it will be insignificant. That when you wipe with it, it will be overcome within the wetness. I don't think there is the case where you wipe it more than once and it's still wet. There's a difference between still dripping wet and very wet and barely wet. It will be barely wet. How you tell? I'll tell you how you tell. When you finish, take a paper tissue, a tissue, right? Like a facial tissue, and put it on your on here and look at it on the light. It won't be wet.
I heard somebody say, take the wuzu first, then do the wuzu, or something like that.
Now that is another solution. I am answering the question where you assume that you're going to do. And another thing is sometimes the ghusl is enough for wudu. Like the ghusl is a badal of wudu. But when you finish the ghusl one wudu, there is a hadath asghar and hadath akbar. A hadath asghar, a small hadath, like sleeping, like going